Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're really getting into something ancient but incredibly relevant. We're looking at a specific part of the book of Job. Job's going through immense suffering, questioning God. His friends aren't much help. And then this younger guy, Elihu, steps up, and he delivers this really powerful defense of God's justice. It's quite something. Our mission, really, in this deep dive is to pull out what this tells us about God's character, about universal accountability, and crucially, how these old truths can actually, reshape your life today, how they encourage obedience and genuinely strengthen your faith. So Elihu starts off addressing the wise men, which kind of sets the tone, right, intellectually. He uses this great proverb, "For the ear trieth words, as the mouth tasteth meat." It's like he's saying, listen carefully, test this, discern the truth. He's inviting you, the listener, to really engage.
Absolutely. And the core of it, the absolute foundation of what Elihu argues, is God's nature. He says it so clearly. Far be it from God that he should do wickedness, and from the Almighty that he should commit iniquity. And again, surely God will not do wickedly, neither will the Almighty pervert judgment. This isn't just about God choosing not to do wrong. It's that he can't. It's his essence. Justice isn't a policy. It is God. Think about that for a second. It implies this deep underlying moral structure to everything. No injustice ultimately gets swept under the rug. That really changes how you view fairness, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And he doesn't pull any punches with Job either. Job's been saying things like, God's taken away his righteousness.
Or that big one, that it profiteth the man nothing, that he should delight himself with God.
Exactly. And Elihu basically says, whoa, hold on, you're speaking without full knowledge here.
Yeah.
He directly challenges Job's whole perspective.
Right. And connecting this out, Elihu emphasizes God's total sovereignty. He's not accountable to anyone else. He asks, who put him in charge? Who runs the whole show? The answer is nobody but him. And key to this is his omniscience. His eyes are upon the ways of man, and he seeth all his goings. There is no darkness nor shadow of death where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves.
Okay, so if God really sees everything, everything, our hidden thoughts, private actions, does Elihu suggest God treats, say, a public sin differently from a private one? Or is it all laid bare?
It's all laid bare. That phrase, no darkness nor shadow of death, means just that. Every single action, thought, motive, public, private, doesn't matter. It's all visible to God, constantly. There's literally no hiding. And that flows right into his impartiality. Elihu makes a point of saying, God accepteth not the persons of princes, nor regardeth the rich more than the poor. Why? For they all are the work of his hands. It's not about favoritism. It's about equal standing before ultimate justice. Your status on earth means nothing in that final reckoning. Everyone faces the same fair judgment.
But, you look around and sometimes it really feels like the powerful, the rich, they just get away with things.
So given God's all-seeing eye, his impartiality, what does Elihu say actually happens to people who, choose to go against that divine order? What are the consequences?
Well, Elihu says God knoweth their works. He sees it all. And he can break in pieces mighty men without number, just overturn them, sometimes swiftly overnight, destroy them. He might even strike them down in the open sight of others, precisely because they ignored him and his ways. So this principle of accountability, it's universal. It's like a divine guarantee that justice will ultimately be done. But Elihu also adds a warning, right? Especially relevant for Job, but for us too. When you're suffering, be careful. Don't speak without knowledge. Don't add rebellion to his sin. Hardship is tough, no doubt, but how you respond matters immensely. Okay, this is deep stuff from Elihu. Fascinating, for sure. But let's bring it home. What does this actually do for you listening today? How does this ancient argument about God's justice practically change things for us now? How does it genuinely encourage obedience, build up our faith?
Okay, great question. I think the first big takeaway for you is this. You can genuinely trust God's character, especially when life feels incredibly unfair. We all have those moments, right, where things seem unjust, chaotic, and you're thinking, God, where are you in this mess? Elihu reminds us that even if we don't understand the timing or the methods, and often we won't, God's fundamental nature is justice. Knowing that he is inherently just, that the ultimate scales are balanced, allows you to find a different kind of peace. It means you can release the burden of needing everything to make sense right now and trust his character over your circumstances. That strengthens faith enormously.
And that trust then changes how we live day to day, doesn't it? If you really internalize what Elihu is saying, that God sees everything, every quiet moment, every hidden thought, what does that do to your integrity?
It has to.
It calls you to live authentically, doesn't it? Yeah. To strive for integrity even when absolutely no one else is looking, because you know you were seen. That awareness fosters, well, a deeper desire for obedience, for aligning your actions with what's right.
And think about power dynamics. We see powerful people seemingly avoid consequences all the time. Elihu's truth that power doesn't equal immunity is a real anchor for faith. It reminds you that earthly status, wealth, influence, none of it grants exemption from God's ultimate accountability. Knowing that reinforces your trust that justice will prevail, even if it's not on our timeline or in ways we expect.
And that point about words and suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Elihu's rebuke of Job is sharp. It's a crucial reminder for us too, isn't it? To be careful with our words when we're hurting or confused.
Mm-hmm.
Maintaining reverence, humility, even when we don't understand. That posture itself is a form of obedience, a reliance on God rather than, lashing out based on limited perspective.
Exactly. And it all kind of circles back to this core idea. Justice is rooted in God's nature, not just in our temporary circumstances or feelings about fairness. When you grasp that, it elevates your whole perspective. Your faith isn't anchored in whether today felt fair or not. It's anchored in God's eternal, unchanging, perfect wisdom and justice. And recognizing that truth naturally encourages you, I think, to want to align your life more closely with His ways. It leads towards that deeper trust, that willing obedience.
Wow. So this deep dive into just one chapter, Job 34, Elihu's defense, it's given us so much. God's unwavering justice, His all-seeing eye, this universal accountability, these aren't just abstract ideas. Understanding them really can foster profound trust, encourage real integrity, promote humility, and ultimately lead to a stronger faith and, yes, greater obedience in your daily life.
So maybe the question to leave you with is this. When you truly consider God's impartial justice and His all-seeing eye, how does that perspective actually transform how you approach your own actions and words today?